Hey everyone, welcome to Craving Something Scary, where it's all horror all the time. Now in this video, I'm going to discuss Skeet Ulrich's recent comments regarding Scream 7, and in particular for this video, I'm going to focus on his statements about Matthew Lillard and whether Skeet feels that a return of Stu Macher could happen and if it should happen. So I will dive into all of this with you, and we will see how things shake out when it's all said and done. I mean, after all, those are the rules. Let's go.
It's David Arquette, Dewey from the Scream movies, as you know. Remember, there's only one rule to surviving a horror movie, and that's subscribing to Craving Something Scary.
So the article I'm referencing can be found on cbr.com, and I always recommend reading the full article after this video if you want to see more commentary on Skeet's comments. Now let's get into it. The headline reads, Scream star Skeet Ulrich wants to see Stu Macher return in Scream 7. And the article goes on to say, speaking with Screen Rant, Ulrich explained how he had to keep his return as Billy Loomis, one of the original Ghostface killers in 2022's Scream, a secret, hinting that fans wouldn't likely know if Lillard was in a future Scream movie until it was released. Quote, I think as long as it served, didn't make a parody of itself, I think the only opportunity would be is if he was alive for it to make any sense. And yeah, I was all for it because he's all for it, Ulrich stated. And yeah, I was hoping, by the way, it could be happening and he wouldn't say a word. I had to keep it secret for 14 months for Scream 5. So who knows? Okay, so couple things. What I love about this, number one, is I just love seeing that Skeet is fully on board the Stu train. I mean, you guys know I'm the self-professed conductor of the Stu train, and I completely welcome Skeet Ulrich to the VIP section of the Stu train whenever it does leave the station. So we know he's on the Stu train. I think that's fantastic. I love seeing that because you never know. I mean, you know, sometimes these actors can come out and say, you know, their opinions, and their opinions may not always be what you expect. But in this particular case, Skeet definitely supports the return of Stu Macher, and he makes some good points. He says, I think as long as it served, didn't make a parody of itself. In other words, I take that as long as it, you know, it serves the story, as long as it's written well is another way you could say that, which is what I've always said. As much as I want to see Stu back, I don't want to see him back just to be there on the screen. You know, I don't want to just see him and just say, oh, there's Stu. And yeah, I mean, I would enjoy that. Of course, I know I would, you know, that moment. But when it was over, reflecting back, I would be disappointed. So I want to see it written in a way that Stu's return serves the story well. And it was Scream 7, if indeed we do get the Sydney-focused movie, which is what I'm hoping for, that they announce Neve Campbell as the lead and we actually get an old school Wes Craven-style Scream movie again. If that turns out to be the case and she really is the lead, it would just feel so natural to see Stu finally brought back. And they've left so many clues in Scream 5 and 6. I've made videos on the channel here outlining what those clues are. There's quite a few. There's breadcrumbs spread around throughout both movies. And that's the ultimate payoff. If Sidney is back as the lead, focused story, then you bring in Stu, and there you go. So I agree with Skeet. It needs to be written well. Don't make it a parody. It needs to be a really good, making sense, adding to the story. Now, also, he makes an interesting comment. He says the only opportunity would be is if he was alive for it to make any sense. And I agree. In other words, no hallucination, no dream sequence, no flashbacks. Stu's alive. He comes back as a living character, as he was going to do in Scream 3, which was Wes Craven and Kevin Williamson's original plan, as you guys know. So I agree with him here as well. I think he's absolutely hitting the nail on the head. And I've always said that there's ways you can do it. I know all the objections. I've heard them for years. How come they don't talk about him in the sequels if he's alive? All these things. And quite simply, the short answer for this video, I've got videos where I dig a lot deeper. And I'm going to be having a dedicated stream for Stu Macher Talks soon, so stay tuned. But basically, the short answer for now is that his death was faked. All right, that's all. It was a fake death. And when you do that, you don't have the obstacles to get over that you do if he was in prison or in an institution where they knew he was alive. You can still make that work too. Trust me. If it's written well, you can still make that work. It's just harder to do. The easier path is that no one talks about him because there's no reason to talk about him because they think he's deceased. He's not alive. So there's no reason to be on the lookout for Stu, or where's Stu at? Is he still in jail, or whatever the case is, right? So anyway, that is a way that you do that. And I like that Skeet is coming out and saying, look, it needs to be alive. He needs to be alive for it to make sense. And I think that's great. 100% agree. And then, of course, he wraps it up by saying he's all for it because Matthew Lillard is all for it. And Lillard has been very vocal about would love to return. But also at the same time, if he is going to return, he is not going to tell anyone. It's going to be under lock and key, just as Skeet is talking about. So if he's asked the question, are you going to be in Scream 7 at a convention? He's not going to say, oh yeah, I just signed with my agent and yeah, I'll be seeing you guys in the movie. There's no way. No, he's not going to do that. He will have signed non-disclosure agreements. And these NDAs essentially are gag orders. I mean, you just can't talk about it. There's no way it's going to happen. So he's going to have to say no. He's not in it. So if that continues to happen, I think that's not bad news at any means. As Skeet himself had to keep it secret for 14 months. So I'm telling you guys, even Skeet saying it says, who knows? So it could absolutely happen. And I love saying that Skeet's on board. He's on the Stu train. I think it would be great to have Stu back, as you guys know. And again, stay tuned. There's going to be more videos, more live streams dedicated to Stu Macher Talk and getting all your guys' thoughts. And speaking of your thoughts, I want to hear what you have to say. You guys have a voice here on this channel, but you can only use that voice by typing a comment in the comment section below. That's how I can hear you. So I want to know what you think about Skeet's comments regarding Matthew Lillard and the possible return of Stu Macher to the franchise. Are you ready to grab your seat on the Stu train? Or do you already have one? Maybe you already have been on the Stu train. I want to know what your thoughts are, your ideas about this, and any theories you may have of Stu coming back and how you would do it. So start leaving your comments below right now so we can discuss these Stu Macher ideas together, okay? Well, that's going to be it for this update, guys, but I'll be back soon with more Scream and other horror movie content. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and until next time, this is Craven Something Scary, where it's all horror all the time. Thanks for watching.